The Roadie Strength Podcast is now brought to you by Perform Better. So you may know them initially from their bands, the mini bands, the loop bands, super bands. Just a really high quality rubber. They last a long time. They stretch really nicely, not like some of the cheapo ones. They're a local Rhode Island company. They're on the East Greenwich and West Warwick line, which is super cool. But they have reached national and international recognition. This company's been around for a long time. And they're just really known for having high quality gear, high quality equipment, outstanding customer service. Something breaks, they're willing to work with you, send it back, fix it, and just being really knowledgeable about their craft. They've been in the game for a long time. They do a lot of facility design, for the high schools, colleges, but they really work a lot with the pro teams, NBA, MLB, NHL, NFL. They have really good relationships with a lot of these teams. They do a lot of custom build-outs for their facilities, custom build-outs for their gyms, dumbbells, platforms, putting the custom logos in there, you name it. So some really cool stuff they're doing on that front. As far as education goes, they do a lot of courses. So whether online or in person, they have some of the top level courses in the strength and conditioning industry. And their Perform Better Summit, where you can actually go in there and listen to some of the top people in the industry and actually talk with them after the lectures, which is so cool, which you can't really get from some of this online stuff. But the education, they do really, really well. And the company's just great. It's, I've met a lot of people there. They're tight-knit. They're good people. So check them out, performbetter.com, and on Instagram, @performbetter. The Roadie Strength Podcast is now brought to you by Lavine, the Heavy Hitter. We've been really happy to have them jump on as a sponsor. I've personally used them this past year. My wife was in a car accident, and they were able to help us along every step of the way through getting properly compensated, making sure we weren't getting taken advantage of by the car insurance companies, and helping through with medical payments. So if you've been in a car accident, it's definitely worthwhile. Just pick up the phone and see how they can help. The Roadie Strength Podcast is now sponsored by Friend Yoga. Find them online at soulfriendyoga.com, on Instagram @soulfriendyoga. They're a locally based Rhode Island company over in Bristol. They also have a beautiful online presence. You can take a look at all their apparel, all their yoga mats online. Really nice website. And their materials and quality are top notch. Me and my wife both have a yoga mat from them. My wife has a lot of their apparel, the yoga pants, the tops, the accessories. Great company, great people. Definitely check them out either in person, online. Give them a follow. Soul Friend Yoga. The Roadie Strength Podcast is brought to you by Strength and Sport Physical Therapy for all your PT, recovery, and performance needs. We help you get back on the field, back in the gym, and back to a healthy and active life. What's our 3-step process? Well, number 1, we want to diagnose the cause of the injury. Number 2, we want to make progress towards your goal. Number 3, we want to push performance and prevent it from happening again. What's our history? Well, we were founded in 2017 within a CrossFit gym, Spartan 360, in Middletown, Rhode Island, with a dream to create a PT clinic that revolves around fitness. Since then, we've expanded to 2 separate locations in Rhode Island, Portsmouth and Providence. We hope to continue to serve Rhode Island and the greater community for many years to come. Our big goal is we want to help you get back to the activities you love. What's our edge? Why are we cut above the rest? Well, we provide one-on-one attention. Every session's with a doctor of PT. This helps you get the most out of your rehab. We provide a variety of techniques, whether it's dry needling, cupping, exercise, correctives, and we base our rehab basically on the most up-to-date research, whatever is evidence-based. And we specialize in athletics. We walk the walk of fitness and sport. We have certifications including the CrossFit Level 2, USAW, CSCS, SCS. We do bike fitting, we do running analysis, concussion rehab, dry needling. Really, we want to build a better you. To get in touch, give us a call or text 401-239-2784. You can give us an email, matt@strengthandsportpt.com. Follow us on Instagram @strengthandsport. Check us out online, www.strengthandsportpt.com. Ready to get started?
Ready.
Let's hit it. All right, what's going on, guys? Dr. Matt here, host of the Roadie Strength Podcast. We got another special guest on today, Megan Cook, the princess of protein.
That's me.
What's going on? So you are a women's fat loss coach, personal trainer, and much more. As we dive into the podcast, we'll talk all about that. But I like to start these off with the rapid fire questions. So First one, I'm a huge coffee drinker, so I like to start off with a favorite coffee shop.
Okay, well, the one that's closest to me, I love a small local-owned coffee shop, is Felicia's Coffee.
Yes.
Yeah, because I live on the NK East Greenwich line.
Yep.
And I like the vibe of that one. They have an outdoor seating area, and I go and I'll work outside. Even when it's cold, as long as I can push it, I'll do it. And everyone's nice there.
Yeah, that's a common answer for this question.
Felicia's?
Yeah, that's
Go
a common.
Felicia's! Yeah.
Multiple times. That's been a good one. I do like that spot a lot. Next one, we got favorite recent book, or just book in general.
Oh, I have a couple, but one that keeps standing out that I recommended to my clients and my business friends, it's called QBQ, The Question Behind the Question.
Cool.
And it's really about like when we look at things, we're approaching it at surface level, but we're not really diving into the why behind things. And it's helped me become a better coach and my clients like analyze their life and realize like the why behind what they're doing and why they do it.
Right.
That one was really impactful. Oh, I highly recommend it.
I like that because I know from personal training or even from like the PT standpoint, like figuring out somebody's why can help just like with like motivation, determination on how to reach their goals.
Yeah.
And everything.
For example, if a client's like, oh, I know I didn't reach my goal because I drank X amount of glasses of wine, it'd be like, well, why are we drinking the wine? Why are we using that a crutch instead of like surface level? Like, oh yeah, it's the
Right.
wine. But let's dive deeper. Why? Why are you
Exactly.
choosing to do that? What is that providing to you? And it just opens up, I don't know, so much more in your brain.
Totally. And I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but I like how like with your just general your theme on how you work with people. I mean, you have the nutrition and fitness pieces, but you're really big on like the why, the motivation and like the mindset behind things. So that's really cool. You do it that way.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's all part of it. People don't realize how much your brain is responsible for your own growth
Totally.
or your own hindrance. That too.
Yeah. Either way. Next rapid fire, we got somewhere you've traveled recently.
Oh, I love to travel. It is my biggest inspiration behind why I am an entrepreneur because I can do my business anywhere. I've been so grateful to be able to travel to 7 places this year, and I leave for Austin tomorrow.
Sweet.
Oh my gosh. But I would have to say this year specifically, I went to a fitness retreat in Utah. It was in Albian
Cool.
Basin. So I didn't know anyone. I saw one of my mentors or one of my inspirations in the space. Her name is Kelsey Wells. If we ever get to that question, I'll bring her up again. But she's a woman's personal trainer, started off her own journey, posted it on social media after having her son, held this awesome retreat. I traveled. I met women from all over. We went hiking. We did meditation. We did journaling. We
Sweet.
did a workout. And it was so cool.
Nice.
And that was in September, which is a beautiful time of year to go to Utah.
Cool. Yeah.
I couldn't pinpoint one down, but if I had to go for this year, it would definitely be Utah.
That's cool. Just completely separate. I've heard many people who have been to Utah being like, this is a really cool place.
It's gorgeous. The city of Salt Lake, it's quiet. It's a quiet town, but like the mountains, the hiking, I'm a
Sure.
very outdoorsy person. I cannot get enough of it. Everywhere you look, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Even from like the ski and snowboard community, they're like, yeah, Colorado obviously is beautiful, but
Park City, that's a good place. Mhm.
Park City, like, Utah is kind of like it's not lesser known, but it's like not maybe as like not touristed as Colorado. Maybe
If you go to Zion,
Yeah.
oh, that is an amazing hike. Doing Angel's Landing, I need to go back and do that. It's stunning.
That's
Pictures
awesome.
don't do it justice.
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
you've been to places where the camera cannot capture it. It's true
right.
beauty.
You got to see it in person.
Just like you ladies.
Yeah.
The camera doesn't capture your true beauty.
Next question, we got favorite shoe or sneaker. This could be within the gym or out of the gym, just in general.
I would actually have to say Crocs.
Hey, there we
Crocs
go.
are
Nice.
amazing. They are so supportive of your orthopedic health. They are lightweight. My feet never hurt when I'm wearing them.
Sure.
But when we're training in the gym, actually one day I forgot to bring my gym shoes and I had to train in Crocs. I don't recommend it. But obviously Converse are great flat foot. So when
Sure.
you're lifting, the absorption of shock. And then I really like Noble as a
Yeah.
brand for training. That's what you have on. Yeah, I'm very
Yeah.
loyal. If I like it and it doesn't wrong me, I'm just going to keep purchasing over and over again.
Beautiful. Love it. Crocs, also a repeat answer on that.
They're amazing. They're actually like ergonomically designed to fit your toes. They're ugly as sin. I get it, but like they're so comfortable.
They're weirdly fashionable though.
They are now.
Yeah,
They have like
yeah.
little trinkets you can put
Yep.
on it. I'm not that into it.
You don't have them? No, the
but
trinkets?
not the trinkets,
No.
but I love Crocs.
Not yet.
I love them. Guys, I love Crocs. I'm a Croc lover. I'm reformed.
Next one, we got favorite exercise in the gym.
I think for me, I love pull exercises.
Cool.
As a female, we're more leg dominant. So doing crazy things on the legs comes a little bit easier, but I love pull exercise. I love row, like Pendlay rows. That's where I just feel super strong.
Nice.
I just love any kind of rose.
That's Pendlay row. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I don't know. I just feel badass when I do it because I'm always gonna like make some sort of like sound like as I pull it up. Like, yeah, look at me.
Yeah, totally. No, I like that answer a lot. Good stuff. This one you already hinted at. Favorite person, celebrity mentor, inspiration in like the health fitness world right now. You said Kelsey Wells?
Kelsey Wells. She started off, I think, 9 years ago. I found her on social media before she became who she was. She was just, before she became the Kelsey Wells, everyone knows her as.
Sure.
But she started off her journey after having her son, just postpartum, wanted to get healthy. And she just resonated with so many people. And a lot of it had to do with her mindset around it. Built a huge cult following. And it's just been amazing to watch it transcend. And I'm proud to be one of her audience members and then actually get to meet her. She is so genuine and loving. She gave me one of those hugs, like, squeeze, like bear hugs. Like, I'm so like happy that I met you. It was great. And like, you could feel it was real. It wasn't just surface level.
Totally. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she is so badass. I can't wait till she does another one.
There we go. That's always cool when it's you like, it's happened to me before too, where I follow someone and I get to actually like meet them in person, like an inspiration mentor, like on social media or online. Like,
you're starstruck.
Yeah.
They had a line. They're like, all right, if everyone wants to meet Kelsey for the first night, line up. And nobody wanted to. And they're like, you. I was like, okay. So I just went first. Like, I guess I'll break this seal.
Sure.
No, it was fantastic.
This is a fun one. Favorite gym like pump up song right now?
Pump up song. I like a lot of the golden oldies. I'm not gonna lie.
All right.
Like if I were blasting some Bee Gees or some Elton John, like
let's
I'm
go.
gonna feel it.
Let's go. I'll take that. That's a great answer.
Like Tragedy by Bee Gees. Oh, I could totally get grooving with that.
That the 80s, is that 80s you said? 80s-ish?
Like late 70s,
sure,
early
okay.
80s. Oh yeah, like the Rocky soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
There's some absolute bangers in that era that people wouldn't expect for the gym. There really are.
I did one bikini competition and I chose to walk out to Good Vibrations by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Nice. So I'm like, it's just so high vibration.
Nice.
So I love that kind of music.
And this will be an interesting question for you too, because I know you're big on just nutrition in general, but what's your favorite go-to breakfast?
Go-to breakfast? Actually, it's kind of what I made this morning. I circled through a couple, but I love sourdough toast, scramble up a couple eggs with some cottage cheese. I threw in some feta and some pepperoni, and I just sandwiched it together. I love a good breakfast sandwich.
Oh, that sounds really good.
I could eat that every day for like every meal. Love breakfast sandwiches.
Sourdough toast, scrambled eggs, feta, and what was the last?
I threw pepperoni and cottage cheese, like bumped to the protein, makes it super creamy.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
And then in the cold months, like a good oatmeal with some protein mixed in, like hearty, like peanut butter, oat butter, nuts, craisins, all that stuff. That's really like warming and filling. Nice.
Hot oatmeal? Are you doing overnight oatmeal or?
Oh, you know what? I don't know. I like hot oatmeal, but I also love overnight oats. I think I could just say both.
Both. Yes.
Yeah,
yes to
oatmeal.
Both. And this is another interesting question, but well, maybe not. Maybe just a regular question. But favorite cheat meal, and I put like cheat kind of in like parentheses because that is sometimes a polarizing just word in general. But
yeah, cheat meal. I mean, if you were to ask me 10 years ago, cheat meal was like the thing. Like you had to be like so spot on, but really like flexible eating and dieting is a good approach. But that's tough. I have a wide range of things that I like to eat. I would say popcorn, but I feel like that's not very like calorically heavy. But I feel like a cop out is pizza because who doesn't love pizza? It's bread and cheese.
Yes. Do you have a go-to pizza place that do you order it or you make it or?
I love Pizza King in Warwick.
All right.
They are like the most amazing pizza. I will say though, my uncle owns Charlestown Famous Pizza. I'm biased, so I feel like I can't promote too much, but it's always consistent. It's always good. It's been around forever. But pepperoni and mushroom is like my favorite topping.
Ooh, nice, good stuff.
Love mushrooms.
All right, so that was rapid fire. Actually, that one pretty rapid. We'll take it. Good job.
I do speak very quickly.
That was good. So we'll get into the backstory a little bit next. Kind of getting into like what I call like the meat and potatoes of the podcast. Kind of like your backstory, like how you got into fitness, and then how you got into basically like starting your own business and starting coaching others. A couple things I wanted to kind of like point out just from some of the research I did on you and for the podcast was one of the big things was you said you used to be a kind of this former low-carb, cardio-obsessed queen back in the day when you're getting into the gym routine. So I guess how did you how did that start? How did that work / not work for you?
It actually worked at a gym. I worked at Workout World. Rest in peace. They finally just shut down this year. So sad, but it's a big piece of my adolescence.
Sure.
But I really loved the people there. I loved the environment. And I would look at these women that were sculpted and toned to be like, that is the aesthetic that I want to receive. I see them doing pull-ups. I feel like for women, when I see a pull-up, I'm like, you are the ultimate badass because they are so damn difficult.
Totally.
So when I would see them, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm in this environment. Like, that's something that I want. And I had a trainer. I would do a lot of the 3 sets of 12, like dumbbell work. In my brain, I was thinking, I'm hella strong, which is good. You have to start everywhere.
Sure.
But then if I were to really look back and analyze, like, I could never get over like 10 pounds. I wasn't making the connection between good nutrition, good health, building muscle. I just thought, like, if you were the smallest, that was what your value was placed in as somebody in the gym. And if you wanted the toned look, you just had to, like, lower your weights and just do a couple bicep curls, a couple glute kickbacks, really, like, no strategy in place. But I just figured if I was in the gym, I'd be a gym girl.
Yeah.
And there's been so much that has changed in the past decade in this industry, and I'm very glad, and lots of education has come out. And as I have grown into an adult, I am 31.
Hey.
As I've entered my late 20s, early 30s, a lot of that has changed mindset-wise in the approach there.
Sure.
But I loved working for that gym. The people there were so good. It's like Cheers, but in a gym.
Sure. Where was that Workout World? Was that one in Providence? No?
It's Warwick. It's next to, it's like near West Shore Road. There's a job lot over there.
Oh, yes. Okay. And it was, you said, about 10 years ago-ish? Or
Yeah, looking back on it, it's been like a decade of life. I still worked out there for a while until I moved, but every now and then I'd go back just for nostalgia. Like, your home gym is always just a comforting place.
Yes, no, 100%. And you were working there, were you working there as a trainer as well? Or?
No, I just did sales. I just wanted people to get in the gym, and it was $10 a month at that point. I don't remember what it is now, but I was like, look, what you see is what you get. You've got your machines, you got your weights. It's $10. Like, if you want to be healthy, let's go.
Relatively
I actually did very
easy.
well in that position because I care about people's health.
Totally.
I wasn't going to glamorize it. I'm like, it's a gym. You have everything you need. It's $10.
It's a good price. It's a gym. Here you go.
Yeah.
Do you want to join or not?
Yeah, and I would watch people, so I would learn a lot just from observing, but obviously I wasn't qualified to, like, help people on a professional level, but I would observe.
Sure. Yeah, so you gained some knowledge just from, like a sponge, just being there.
Yeah, and then I decided, like, it's a path I'm interested in taking. So I'm like, while I'm here, why don't I mingle with people, ask them questions, ask the trainer questions, just get to know people in this circle so I can expand my network. And when the time comes, I have a bunch of people I can reach out with.
Yeah.
That was a fun time.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what was, I guess, the next step from being there, cardio obsessed, more lower carb, and what kind of, like, broke you out of that cycle? Or maybe it was the first step to kind of break you out of that cycle?
Education, man.
Yeah.
I signed up. I was like, all right, I want to actually understand how this works, because all I'm doing is watching other people, but I don't know how they're getting from point A to point B. What's the missing piece? So I signed up to get my certifications. I started with nutrition first so that I could understand, like, how to fuel your body properly. And I was definitely mind blown in finding out, like, how much you actually have to eat if you want to build muscle and for, like, your hormones. Like, the 1,200 calorie diet that all the women thought was, like, gold. I learned that you got to probably eat, like, double like that if you want to build a butt. And like, every girl wanted a butt, but they're like, all I do is cardio. Why am I not getting it? Because you're not building muscle. So I went back to the drawing board to get my certifications, and I really enjoyed the process of learning. I'm always continuing education because there's so much in the industry that keeps coming out. But it was that first step which really made me feel more confident. And then I started to apply what I've learned. And that's when I did my first bikini competition. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to show prospective clients that you don't have to give up things you love, like beer, pizza, chips, all that. Like, you can just show up and feel good about your body and find a good balance of, like, figuring out how to build, like, a nourishing meal and feel good in your body. And you know what's funny? I actually placed, like, top 3 in my division. I had no training. I didn't, like, study under anybody. I just showed up. My spray tan didn't even, like, there was a big gap on my forehead, I guess, down my legs. They called my name, and I didn't know how it worked, so I'm just standing there posed, and they're like, number 8. And my mom's like, that's you, kid, from, like, the audience.
Yeah.
I had to come up and, like, do whatever, but it was cool to walk home with 2 trophies.
That's awesome.
And after the show, I went up to the judges. I said, thank you. This was a fun experience. Do you have feedback if I ever wanted to do this again? Spoiler alert, I would never want to do that again.
Sure.
But they were like, oh, we wanted to see more of your muscle mass. We wish you were more tan or tanner. I was like, oh, okay. Well, thanks for the feedback. If you saw what I looked like, for me, I looked pretty dark, but that was good feedback. The only friend that I made was this Russian guy who didn't speak any English, but him and his trainer were like, "You are funny." They liked me. The other girls that were there on the team, they wanted nothing to do with me.
Really?
I was like, that's not the energy I thought that would be here. That's unfortunate. So we got to shift that. But all in all, it was good experience because I didn't restrict myself. Yes, I was very mindful of my calories at that point, but I still I ate foods that I liked, and I wanted people to know, like, coming to me to educate you, like, you're not going to have to sacrifice life.
Right. Yeah, because there's pros and cons to that. It's like if you're overly restrictive, like that can lead to a whole another side effect of like negative things in your life, binge eating or potentially other things.
And for women, like hormonal function, like adaptations just plummet.
Sure.
Actually, that reminds me, when I did my walkout, I exited the opposite side of the stage, and they had to call me. They're like, "That's the wrong side," and I had to walk back again in front of the whole audience. So that was just a goofy experience. So the fact that I did as well as I did, I must have had
That's
good
awesome.
energy.
Yeah. Literally, it's the posing or the spray tan is like didn't matter as much as like how you looked, I guess.
No, I waved. I was like, "Hi," as I came back.
That's great. You mentioned this a couple times, so I kind of want to dive into it a little bit off on a tangent. Hormones.
Yeah.
Hormones with really restrictive, like low-calorie dieting. What are some things to look out for with, like, how can that affect you?
Women with your cycle. Well, the first thing, like, your sleep gets heavily affected when you have hormonal adaptations because your cortisol gets thrown way out of whack. So a lot of women are running on low energy, and then they just, like, highly caffeinate, and that's, like, plummeting your hormone levels as well. But if you're waking up between 2 and 3 in the morning, that's usually some sort of cortisol adaptation. Like, it should be rising as you wake up and then gradually falling during the day. But what happens is when you stimulate it, it's going to bump up really, really quickly. So you're going to be like all sweaty and neurotic and energized and shaky. And then midday, you're going to get that crash. So if you notice you're crashing between 2 and 3 p.m. and then you're waking up between 2 and 3 a.m., that's one sign that your hormones are just like not jiving right now.
Sure.
Hair loss or thinning hair, that's a big one for women that we're seeing in their later 20s and early 30s. They're starting to like get bald spots, not really sure why.
Right.
Losing your period or having irregular periods, that's probably one of the biggest signs because that's one you can notice right away. If that is something that you're going through, definitely reach out to your medical provider. Get on top of that because you don't want that to get out of whack too soon.
Right.
But outside of that too, brittle hair, not only hair loss like brittle hair, if you notice like your nails are kind of like breaking off as well. A lot of signs like cosmetically too, even your skin. That's a tough one because there's a lot of factors that can influence your skin. But if you're noticing too, a lot of for women, like acne around like your lower half of your face, that's a sign that your hormones are kind of like getting all out of whack too.
Interesting. Okay. That's really good, like the tactical information to be like, okay, here's some symptoms like to look out for.
Yeah.
With
the
hormones.
sleep one is the first one that always comes up because
Gotcha.
when I ask my clients in our weekly review, like, what was your sleep like? I'm looking to find out, like, do you have irritable sleep? Are you having trouble falling asleep? The tired but wired one, that is a huge one. You just want to sleep, but your body will not let you. That's a big indicator that your hormones need to be like checked out.
Sure. And with basically one of the easiest ways, or yeah, I guess you tell me, like increasing, getting out of that 1,200 calorie per day is a big thing to help just get your hormones like kind of back normal.
Yeah, and the approach that I take, and I would say 90% of my clients need this, is what's called a reverse diet. So you've heard of a traditional diet, and that's when you restrict your calories. But a reverse diet is literally the antithesis of that. So we're slowly increasing our calories over an extended amount of time to reach the amount that you would need to function for your activity level and your lifestyle. So that's going to look different for everybody. Not to get too sciencey, but there's something called your total daily energy expenditure. That's the amount of calories that you need to exist by doing no more activity. And then you have to factor in like your lifestyle. Are you running around looking after kids all day? Are you strength training in the gym? Do you have a job that's physically active? You're going to need more calories to support that. So you never want to go below your total daily energy expenditure. A lot of people find that number and they're like, oh, let me cut my calories. That's furthering you into a deficit. And if you're not getting enough calories, that's conservation mode. That's why you can't lose any weight. Right. So we slowly increase those numbers to get up to your needs. You have your TDEE, and then you have your resting metabolic rate. So you're bringing your calories up over time. Once you reach what's called your maintenance level, what you would need to support your lifestyle, then you can hang out there for a little bit, then talk about the next step, because now you've reached homeostasis, your hormones are getting back in order, you're sleeping better, your digestion has improved. That's when you're green lighted for like a weight loss phase. It's not,
Gotcha.
You can't just like jump into it. A lot of people go to a coach and they're like, okay, let me slash your calories by the traditional 500 calories, or we'll do a 20% deficit without first making sure that you're at a safe level for your hormones. It's a really, really big deal.
Gotcha. Okay. And I'm sure a lot of people once maybe you explain that to them, like, okay, this makes sense, I'm on board. But maybe a lot of people off the start are like, I want to lose weight, but you're telling me to eat more calories. Like, they probably like get nervous or
they
like,
get incredibly nervous. And I say, like, you have to trust me on this one, and we'll take it slow. The reason that you take it slow is so you don't notice huge spike ups. If you were to just go say that you're eating 1,200 calories and you need 2,000, you can't just do that in a week. It's not realistic, first of all. That's going to set my clients up to fail. That's going to disempower them, which is something I do not want to do. But also from a health standpoint, that's a lot to take in for your body. You're going to see big spikes up on the scale because of that. You're increasing your caloric take almost double. But if we do it every 2 weeks, we're increasing by 100 to 200 calories. It's incremental. Your body has gotten used to that first bump up, and then you can handle another one. And so it's a slow drip. And then you finally get to what you would need for your metabolic rate. And a lot of times you experience body recomposition where you start to burn body fat because you're actually giving your body calories to burn. So it's like we're putting energy in so we can finally start to put energy out. So before we've even gotten to the fat loss phase, a lot of people start to see that just from eating more food.
Right.
But I will discern it's not just like eating Pop-Tarts and bags of chips and just like downing Yoo-Hoos. Like qualities of your calories matter.
Sure.
So that's really tough to do that in a way where you're not just, I remember just eating Pop-Tarts because I couldn't get enough in, but I would much rather you eat something of substance.
Right.
That was a funny time. I like cried over my rice. I'm like, I don't want to eat any more rice. But like I needed the calories or I wouldn't be able to lift the weight.
Sure. Just trying to get fuel in by any means possible. Another term that people may have heard but maybe don't know fully is something else you just mentioned, the body recomposition.
Yeah.
Can you explain that a little bit? Yeah.
This is my favorite. This is what I specialize in. I obviously can help with weight loss, muscle gain, strength, all that. But my favorite is body recomposition because it's such an aha moment for people when they realize they can eat more food and actually have a body that looks and feels amazing. So body recomposition is kind of like taking your body's weight and state and redistributing it. So your weight may not change, but we're burning body fat, putting on more muscle mass. Now, people always think, oh, muscle weighs more than fat. That's an incorrect statement because if you think about it, a pound's going to be a pound no matter what. But I always use this example. I think I saw this come up on your sheet too. But if we're comparing 1 pound of pennies versus 1 pound of feathers, the feathers are going to take up significantly less space because you can squish them down. They don't hold as much volume. The pennies still are a pound, but they take up a lot of space. And that's the same between fat and muscle. So although you may not be losing weight, if we are building muscle mass, we're taking up far less space. So you may see the weight stays the same or even bumps up a little bit. But when we compare your progress photos, you have a completely different build. You've got those lifted glutes, you have those toned arms, you're starting to get that hourglass shape. And for my clients, that's when they start to like really separate themselves from the scale. The scale is one unit of data, but when they start to see their body actually change its shape with the same weight, they can't deny that it happened. A lot of the times I'll be like, I'm not seeing any changes. My weight hasn't changed. And I'll be like, hold, please. I'll put their side by sides. I'll send it to them. And they'll be like, holy yes. Like, what? That's me? I'm like, yeah, dude. So that's my favorite because not everyone is a candidate for weight loss. You actually might need to gain weight to have your healthiest, sexiest body. And that's a hard pill for some women to swallow because we've put so much of our worth on the scale. But if you can literally get rid of that thing and then track through your progress photos, you will be so damn proud of yourself. And you'll be like, that doesn't matter. Who cares? I actually fit into a size smaller now because I gained weight, but it was in muscle. It's crazy.
That is a wild thing to like kind of blow people's mind. Like literally you said, I can fit into smaller clothes, but I'm heavier.
Yeah.
According to the scale.
Yeah, and that's great for healthy aging too. I bring up again a lot of my client base are the late 20s to early 30s. They're realizing that the practices that they put into place when they were younger aren't really going to serve them anymore. They might have to course correct a little bit, as you will, and so that's a really mind-blowing thing for them. And then they're getting stronger. They're healthy aging. People are like, you don't look like you're in your 30s. And then you're like, what does that look like? And they're like, actually, I don't know. But it's a nice compliment when people tell you look good because you got muscle mass.
And I really loved the reason I did write that down further along in the outline I have here was the pounds of feathers versus pounds of pennies. I'd never heard that before.
Really?
That's a really cool analogy. So I really like that. I'm like, oh, that's a great way to put that.
Yeah, use that. That visually helps people understand because I don't know why we thought muscle weighed more than weight. Maybe it was subconscious to tell ourselves like if we gain weight, it's okay. But like, get rid of the scale. Who cares? Look at how strong you are. You look sexy now because you got that like that tricep line. Look at them glutes. Like it's so good.
That's awesome. Along the same lines as kind of like what you're talking about there with just like gaining muscle, getting toned. Another point that you had made, which was trying to lift heavier versus doing something like the lighter weights, like more reps.
Yeah.
Explain that a little bit for me.
Yeah. So when you're trying to build muscle mass, what you're essentially looking to do is fatigue your muscles to the point of failure. You want to lift as heavy as you possibly can to do that. Muscles, well, you can't visually see this, but when you're building muscle, the muscle fibers, they're ripping and then they're building on top of each other. So it's causing an injury. We want to cause an injury. It's a good injury, mind you, but we want those muscle fibers to tear so they can bulk up. When you're just doing 3 sets at a lighter weight, you're not challenging yourself. You're not putting time under tension with that muscle. So it's not really working,
right.
you know, and it's a good thing if you find that a weight for you is no longer challenging. That means you're graduating onto the next, but you're in a much better place if you can do 3 sets of 6 than you can do 3 sets of 12 with a lighter weight. You just want to challenge yourself, but you can't go anymore. And that's a really effective way in building muscle.
Sure.
And then you could really like dive deeper, talk about strength versus hypertrophy. But at the end of the day, like to build muscle, you want to lift as heavy as you can and just that's it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Stay away from those nice, easy toning sets. Like push yourself and lift heavy.
And say you ever download an app and you're like, okay, I have like my workout for the day, but your thing is muscle gain. Challenge yourself to just pick up the heaviest weight and don't care so much about the repetitions. Just do it until you can't anymore. Sure. That's going to be your best bet and the best way to get your most value out of that program.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Like
and then if you find also that you don't have heavier weights, another effective way to work on progressive overload, which is literally what we just talked about, progressing your weight over time. You can do more repetitions or you can slow down the exercise. So don't think just because you are limited with what you have around you, if you don't have access to a gym, you can still build muscle. But the challenge for you is going to be getting as many repetitions. So instead of 3, if you can do 5 sets of that until you're fatigued, or if you can like do an count of 3 to lower the bicep curl, count of 3 up to do the bicep curl, you'll feel that tension in a way different way.
Totally. That's something with my clients, it's hard for them to sometimes grasp too, is like, just slow down. But they're like, oh, but I can't lift it as many times if I go slow. I'm like,
that's the point.
I'm like, yes, exactly. It's harder.
It's harder.
The muscles don't know that it's like one way or another. They just know that it's hard. So slow it down.
And my clients are like, can you make my plan harder? I'll be like, excuse me, can I make it harder? You're going to make it harder. We got to match this level of effort here.
So that's a good point there. Along the same lines of kind of just strength training in general, and to kind of get us full circle back to your name, Princess of Protein, talk to me about protein intake. What are we looking for, and how do you increase that?
So in general, the guideline is you want to get about 1 gram per pound of body weight to be able to build muscle. But you also have to analyze your starting point. It's not realistic for everyone to be able to hit that number right off the bat, and that's where reverse dieting comes in. But my guidance to you is if you want to increase your protein intake, but you're not sure how, the first step is figuring out what your actual protein intake is.
Sure.
Because you might find that you take in maybe 50 grams of protein. And if that's the case, that's fine. But we're going to start with, now we're going to aim for 65 grams of protein this week. Challenge ourselves there, and then continue to build up. Going back to the disempowerment, you don't want to set yourself up for failure. You want to be able to work your way up there. So on average, about 1 gram per pound of body weight, 0.8 if you can't quite get there. And then if you are in a bulk or a serious style of training to build muscle, you could do like 1.1, 1.2. But for most women, that's not something they need to do unless their doctor advises them to. But on average, 1 gram is good. MyFitnessPal is a very easy tool to use. Here's a hack too. There's a barcode scanning feature that they used to charge you for here in America. But if you change your country to the UK, you get that back. Oh,
no way.
You didn't hear it from me if you get in trouble. You didn't hear it from Matt. You just ought to try
I don't even know if I want to tell people that just in case the word gets out. Because I used to use that feature all the time.
Yeah.
Because that I mean, depends how much like stuff what you're eating, but it can be a massive time saver.
Yeah, I've been in this industry almost 10 years. And I have not paid for the MyFitnessPal version.
You don't
I just
need
use
to.
the free one. You don't need to. Everyone's like, it's asking me to upgrade. Don't worry about it. You don't need that. You might not be able to set specific numbers, but if you know what you're looking for, just log your food, and at the end of the day, look at your journal.
Right.
I know some type A people might freak out if it's not like exactly perfect, but on the cheap, it's like $70 a year. You don't need it.
Yeah, it's a difference between like, can I set my protein intake for, let's say I'm 185 pounds, versus like 187 pounds. It won't let you do like a 2-pound interval or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's
like,
fine.
and it's at that gram amount, it's like there's probably room for error built in there anyway. So it's like
Yeah, and I love that barcode scanning feature,
Yeah.
especially like if you're on the go or traveling and you grab something that's packaged, boop, snap
Yeah.
a pic. So
Easy.
you're all from the UK now.
Awesome. All right, that is a huge hack. That's great.
If it doesn't work though, you didn't hear it here.
Sure. I completely derailed myself because I got so excited about
Right?
that.
It's good.
All right, so as far as protein goes, I know a lot of people who, especially if they haven't been eating a lot of protein and they're not used to it, struggle with trying to get some of those higher numbers. And I'm skipping ahead a little bit again, but what are some common foods to have in your fridge or ways to get some of that protein in during the day?
This is like the year of cottage cheese. Cottage cheese can go in everything, even if you don't like it. A lot of people think the texture is gross. Try cooking with it. Try baking with it, because one serving of it's an extra 12 grams of protein. And don't quote me on calorically, I think it's maybe like 60 calories. It's nothing crazy, but it's a pretty decent ratio. So throwing in eggs, I have a cheesecake batter recipe that we just discovered. Anthony, my boyfriend, and I made it, and I shared it, and people were like, I want to try this. It tastes delicious. You can even blend it in a smoothie. You wouldn't even know. Like, you could blend tofu in a smoothie and you wouldn't taste it. That's a really sneaky way for vegetarians to get it in there.
Sure.
I love on the fly tuna, like a packet of tuna when you're traveling. It's 20 grams of protein and it's like 100 calories. And you can mix it with like Italian dressing for like an Italian tuna. You can throw it in with protein pasta, like banza, and make like a protein, like a summer salad mix. I just did this a couple weeks ago. Actually, we took I think it was Berea was the brand that we used, but we did that. We did a little bit of olive oil, then we grilled up some chicken, threw it in there. So you're doubling down on the protein, because the protein pasta, that's one of my favorite ones to do too, because who doesn't like pasta?
Yeah. Where do you find the protein pasta? Anywhere?
Yeah. Anywhere. You could probably find it on Amazon too if you don't want to leave the house.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, but Market Basket is a place I like to shop.
Sure.
I find they have the best deals, but there's a Stop and Shop across the way from me. So if I'm desperate, I'll just pop over, but most stores have them.
Love it. Those are really good hacks. I've myself been really into Greek yogurt recently, but I've done cottage cheese in the past and I got away from it. Just kind of forgot about it, but I'm gonna start putting that in my diet again too.
Yeah, and it's only like $3 and change for the big container of it. It's pretty cost effective.
Sure. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's like with the do I want to buy like the 99% organic grass-fed beef? And it's like, oh my God, this is getting expensive. You know, it's like,
as I only eat grass-fed beef now,
Yeah,
but I've
fair,
done lots of
fair,
hormone
yeah.
testing. I had to go through some crazy hormone stuff, so that's a personal choice.
Fair.
But cottage cheese is pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, but we're the same. We do a lot of the grass-fed organic or whenever we can. But it's like when you can find the cost-effective things that can help offset it.
Greek yogurt though is a great one. You can
Yeah.
also mix that into your eggs and make them creamy. We do that pretty often. But once we discovered the texture of cottage cheese, because we both love it, we just kind of switched more to that.
No, that's awesome. Really cool. All right, so I think we covered a lot of the strength training piece really, really well. Let's get into we covered a lot of nutrition so far. One thing we didn't talk about a ton yet is some of the mindset. We've kind of like sprinkled it in here and there, but there was unfortunately I'm delayed on getting a lot of these episodes out, so it won't be in time. I think you're doing a challenge right now,
yes,
maybe?
my Naked New Year
Yes,
challenge.
Great name, by the way.
Thanks.
And so I saw you had four different tiers. You have the nutrition, the fitness side of it, like strength training, mindset, and the last one was accountability.
Yeah.
So I love that because I just have seen how much fitness programs, nutrition programs with accountability in itself, but also taking into account that mindset is so helpful for people. So I guess what made you really want to incorporate those two things, and how do you use those as part of your program?
A lot of people think they're incapable. They're not incapable. You just haven't learned the skills yet. You know, it's a mindset shift. But a lot of the work that we're doing, like if we don't get our head right, we're not going to be able to appreciate any of the gains that we make or understand the reasoning behind why we're doing it. So a lot of people, they'll be like, I don't have the motivation. And I like to use this analogy. Motivation is like a toxic ex. You know, when they're coming around, it's real good. You know, like you're feeling on top of the world, nothing can bring you down, but then they're not calling you back anymore. You're crying in bed. You're just feeling like a lump of duty. I don't know.
Sure,
but it's very
sure.
fleeting. And so motivation isn't a thing you can rely on to make a change that actually lasts for a lifetime. You know,
Right.
it's building consistency. And if you haven't worked through the mindset piece on how you're going to show up in the world every day, you're going to have a little bit of a block. You know, your why is so powerful, and that's different for everybody, and it can shift over time.
Right.
You know, like a lot of
Right.
people go through lifestyle changes in this phase of their life. You know, they start having families, they have children, they start buying a home. So there's a lot of shifts that go along with it. And you want to be like, you want to feel certain of who you are. And that's going to help you dominate anything that you want to do.
Sure.
So
Sure.
accountability is huge too. A lot of the women I coach now, because I'm online, it's all over. It's so cool. I think our furthest client is Hawaii. And she's like, you have a
Hey.
friend in Hawaii, you can come visit. I was like, I'll see you there
Yes.
soon. But now
You're like, I
having-
love to travel, so I'll be there.
yes, people that might not necessarily have that support also in their immediate family are finding that with a bunch of strangers that share a similar passion. You know, so if you don't have that right in front of you, that's okay. You can find that. There are people out there that feel exactly the same way as you. And that's why being open-minded is great in that sense too, to become vulnerable. So bringing that back to the Naked New Year, it's a play on words. Yes, everyone wants to look and feel good naked, of course, but it's about shedding the layers, taking off the layers that you can't see, the surface level, and really digging deep. That also comes back to the QBQ, the question behind the question we talked about, just getting really, really nitty gritty and asking yourself, like, why did I act this way? Why did I feel this way? The choices that I made, what inspired that? Instead of just like, oh, I did this thing, I suck. Like, no, let's really dissect that. And so until you can understand yourself, it's hard to know like where you want to go.
Yeah.
You know, the
yeah.
workouts are great, but anybody can work out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you can have nutritional education, but if you don't have a reason behind why you're doing it, you're just going to stay at the starting line.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or you turn into a robot, and that's not a fun way to do it anyway. And that
No.
becomes a chore. You, instead of thinking like, oh, I have to do this workout to feel good. Like, no, I get to do these things
Yeah.
because like that makes me healthy, and then I feel good, and then I can go play with my kids where beforehand I couldn't even squat down to help them pick up a toy. Like those things
Sure.
hold so much weight.
Sure. Yeah, I like that. I mean, if you can make it, fun, which people are like, oh my God, diet, exercise, how can it be fun? But like, you can, you like have a community, have like, start where you're ready and just slowly build on that. It can be fun.
Yeah,
it can
and
be really
every
fun.
day there's a mindset prompt that's in the chat, and I said,
Yeah.
please share it publicly, be vulnerable. And so we're asking questions. Like today, it was like, what's one nourishing meal that you had this week? How did it make you feel to put it together, and how did you feel when you ate it? And so people were sharing, I
Cool.
put this together, I got out of my comfort zone, I tried this recipe, and that made me feel good about myself. I'm actually
That's
eating
awesome.
vegetables now. Like that's important. That's impactful.
Yeah, totally.
So that I'm gonna like really enjoy reading the answers, especially from the start to the end when they really have those aha moments. There's gonna
Totally.
be so much growth. I can't wait to get naked.
Another piece of that, I don't know if you mentioned it, I just missed it, is you encourage journaling for that part, or is that through the?
Yeah, that's through
it's
the
okay,
challenge. Yeah,
cool,
so
cool,
everything's inside of my app. There's the prompt daily, but we have our big community space for everyone in the challenge to share those publicly.
Awesome.
Which has been you realize that you're not alone. That's a huge part of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
People were like afraid, and I'm like, don't be afraid. Like you are gonna inspire the hell out of somebody in there.
Totally. And that was one of the reasons they theorized that, like, I mean, kind of a polarizing thing, but Weight Watchers was
Yeah.
why it was so or people stuck to it, was so popular for such a long time, was it had maybe questionable nutrition advice, but
I have my thoughts. I have my thoughts.
but really good accountability.
Yep.
So it kept people, just a community, so it kept people going with it. So I think that's by tapping into that piece is like can be a game changer.
Community's amazing. I always say like my job as a coach is not a great selling point, but it's to
Yeah.
get you in my program and get you out of my program.
Sure,
But that
sure.
being said, I've had clients that after they're done, they just want to hang around for the community,
Right,
and that
right.
is so dope. Like you of course you're welcome here. I will
Totally.
not push you out. I want you to be self-sufficient. But if you find value in this community, hang around.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I like that a lot. I want to, and I think we covered a lot of the mindset that I wanted to ask you about. I want to talk a little bit because on your Instagram especially, and I think it ties really well into kind of like a lot of the population that you serve, especially when it comes down to hormones and everything, is kind of your past and history with some of the endometriosis and like how you were able to overcome or get treatments for and work through that.
I will try and shorten it as much as possible, because if you have ever been in a situation trying to take control of your health, you know how many hoops you have to jump through.
Yeah.
But for the past decade of my life, I'd been really struggling. I was having terrible, terrible periods. My cramps were debilitating. Year over year, they were getting worse, where they were stopping me from like being able to walk and move. And it's just something was wrong. And I kept going to new doctors and saying like, hey, I don't feel right. And they're like, just take birth control. I'm like, we're Band-Aiding a symptom. If anything, there's no guarantees this will actually Band-Aid a symptom, but you just want to cover the symptoms and not address the root cause.
Right.
And now you're really pissing me off, because I went into a doctor's office who told me, okay, well, you don't want to take birth control? Well, here's a prescription for an antidepressant. Because I was like, what the hell? Like, you don't even know me. I didn't take it. I was nervous. I'm not the candidate for something like that. And now you're wasting, like, that could go to somebody else that needs it, but that's how you're going to medically diagnose me. You met me one time. So that was about halfway into the decade there that I paused my journey for like a good year and a half. I was so discouraged. I was like, maybe there isn't something wrong with me, because it's an invisible disease with endometriosis. But then I finally, I did a lot of digging online. I joined forums and communities to coerce with people and figure out, like, hey, what are your symptoms? You have this, that, to rule out what could be going on with me. And then I finally came to the diagnosis of endometriosis, which once I was discovering that, it wasn't as big as it is now. I wouldn't say it's massive, but it's a term people have heard about at least.
Sure.
But at that point in my life, it really wasn't talked about.
Yeah.
Julianne Hough was a big name at the time. She was on Dancing with the Stars, and she made a commercial I have endometriosis, whatever. And that was like maybe that's something that I have. So I brought my findings to the doctor, and luckily I finally had one that was like, yeah, this sounds like endometriosis. So we're going to give you laparoscopic surgery. The only way to diagnose it, it's a buildup of scar tissue, by the way. You're internally bleeding. It's messed up. That's a whole different podcast on its own. But basically, you've got scar tissue that's building up in your body. And it actually fused some of my organs together, which I found out during my second surgery. But my first surgery, they went in, they saw that there was scar tissue. Yay, I got a diagnosis. They removed it. And there was such duality for me in that moment, because one, it was like, awesome, I have a diagnosis. Finally, thank you, I have it.
Right.
And the second one was
I know what's wrong.
I have a diagnosis.
Yeah.
I have endometriosis. Damn, what do I do now? Because it's a chronic condition. It's not something that goes away. You can learn how to manage it. But after that surgery, I felt no different, which is crazy, because you would think removing that, you'd feel something. But then 2 years later, it got really, really bad. Last fall, I didn't know if I could take anymore. As a very pleasant and upbeat person, I was really I was not looking the future was not looking bright. The quality of life was declining so much. So I had received a couple of referrals to the same doctor. I'm like, when I get a couple with the same girl, it's got to be good for my other friends who have had endometriosis and gone through hysterectomies.
Sure.
I went to her and she says, yeah, based on your previous scans, whatever, I think you'd be a good candidate for hysterectomy. And for me, I like fun aunt energy. I never planned on having children. To me, that connection, that was fine. If that was going to make my quality of life better, okay, I'd like to explore it. And I know that can be a very heavy conversation for some women. And there are other types of options to try and have symptom management. I was just at the point, mine was getting pretty bad.
Sure.
So in February of this year, I went in, had the hysterectomy. I was blasting breakup songs in the car. We had some Olivia Rodrigo. We had, who else was I screaming? Britney Spears. I'm like, we're good. We got this. Actually, the surgeon, she was like, do you remember what you said to me when you were under? I was like, no, I don't. They give you all the good drugs.
Right.
But I guess I said, thank you so much. This has been a long time coming. You have no idea how much it's going to improve my life. And she said all the nurses there were like, wow, this is why we do this. And that was, I'm glad that that's what came out of me when I was on drugs.
I don't know what I'm going to say.
It could have gone any direction. But I woke up from that surgery immediately feeling better.
No way.
Immediately. No pain medication. I walked myself out of that hospital. They told you, take some pain medication to get in front of it. So I did that for the first day. And then I was like, let's see, if I don't need to.
Yeah.
I felt incredible.
Wow.
So good. I was moving really slowly. And for somebody who lives an active lifestyle, it was difficult to accept. I could maybe walk for 5 minutes and I would be so fatigued, I would have to sit back down.
Yep.
But 3.5 weeks later, I was cleared to start exercising again, which is so powerful. When you build a good foundation, your body will show up for you. And that's not going to be everyone's experience. But I was so dead set on working as hard as I possibly could leading up to surgery so that my recovery process would be great.
Sure.
Not even just getting back into the gym, but so I would feel better. Yeah. And I healed well. A week later, there's no scars. The wildest thing. You removed 4 organs from me, and there's no there's nothing there. There's nothing that said you did it. Did I go through this? But I have had a second chance at life, and it's incredible. I've had all this energy to be able to put into other areas of my life.
Nice.
I thought I had a lot of energy before, and this is like something different because I don't have to keep soothing myself. I'm not losing 2.5, almost 3 weeks out of every month to self-soothe and just push through it. You know,
Totally.
I used to be embarrassed to talk about it because women, you know, would be like, I'm going to talk about my period. But I was like,
Sure.
something's not right. And there's a lot of women, once I share it, they're like, hey, like, I'm experiencing similar things. And I've actually connected with so many more. And I've been able to get them in front of doctors or give them resources. And I can at least use my experience to do some good.
Totally.
I'm feeling great. Not going to be everyone's path, but I'm so glad to be on this side of it. And it will be crazy that February will be a year.
Yeah.
Because when you're recovering, you're like, I can't even think of what tomorrow is going to be like if I can't get out of bed.
Sure.
Anthony like would have to lift me up, and then I would slowly walk. Like, damn, I felt so useless.
Oh.
But like, what are you going to do? It was a major surgery.
Right.
But I found out, like, she said it was a severe case of disease. It was all over. And one of my ovaries had fused to like a different organ. So no wonder why that shit hurt. Like, it was stuck to something else. It shouldn't be doing that.
Sure.
So.
Oh man. Well, I'm really glad to hear that. I wasn't sure. I didn't look into it into a ton of depth about your history behind that, but I'm glad things worked out.
Thank you.
Really well.
I feel so incredible. I want to scream it from the rooftops. Thank you so much, Dr. Foley. You are incredible.
Are they in Rhode Island?
Yeah, women and infants. Amazing.
Very
team.
cool.
They are. She's an endometriosis specialist. So what I will say, if you are experiencing these symptoms, don't just go to a general practitioner or a general gynecologist. Seek out a specialist. It's still not a well-known thing. And I loved the first doctor I went to. Well, I wouldn't say loved, but I liked him enough. But he didn't have the experience or the knowledge to really help me in my healing journey.
Right.
Once I got with a specialist, a completely different experience.
Yeah. I feel like with primary care, that's kind of the way it goes. They're kind of like, they're gatekeepers as in like we have a decent amount of knowledge and everything, but we can kind of maybe point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
But
and a hard pill to swallow. If you suffer with any sort of chronic illness or something in your life is going awry, it's not your fault that it happened. It happened. But as an adult, it's your responsibility to live with it and deal with it and to do the healing.
Sure.
You know, you can stay mad at the world forever, but that's not going to help you heal. It's going to turn you bitter and your energy is going to suck, frankly.
Sure.
But it's your responsibility to push through. And just, if you don't like one doctor, find another. I know it's exhausting, but trust me, when you're on the other side, you're going to be so happy that you walked that path.
Yeah, yeah. Because, I mean, especially for you, because if you just stuck with the same 1, 2, or I don't know how many doctors you saw initially, like, you'd probably be in the same spot you'd be now.
It took about 7 years to get a diagnosis. Which spot on, if you look up endometriosis, that's the average.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
That's the average, because they just say, oh, just take birth control because you're young, so you must just, let's just level out your hormones. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. All it's doing is giving you synthetic hormones and blocking symptoms. It's not treating the root cause, and it's very frustrating. So I hope another decade can go by of research and finally start to like help women and maybe be preventative before it gets to the point it got before with me.
Awesome. I love that. We're coming up to getting close to the end of the podcast here. So I want to talk a little bit about kind of, and you've explained some of it so far, but kind of the business that you run now, the people that you help, how you help them. So I took a couple snippets from your website here. The first tagline you have is awesome. I'm gonna read it here. Home for the gals who never turn down dessert and look like a whole snack.
Yes.
Perfect. Love it.
Yes.
So obviously you helping for body recomp, maybe is a better way to say it, versus like fat loss or like muscle building, fitness. And you do all online coaching, or purely online?
I used to do in person, and then obviously 2020 changed a lot of industries. But I kind of dragged my feet until 2021. At the end of the year, I started thinking, what if? What could happen if I just tried? So 2022, I enrolled in business courses and certifications to redo my nutrition and fitness for online training.
Cool.
My mind was blown. I learned even more than I did previously 5 years ago. And it's funny, the more you learn, the more you realize the less you know.
Yeah.
Like, great.
Yeah.
I am down this big old rabbit hole. But that was really impactful for me. And like, okay, now I'm getting, yes, I have the education on how to help people, but now I need to learn how to actually build a business, because those are two different things.
Totally.
It's a whole different animal. But getting into that is tough. Entrepreneurship can chew you out and chew you up and spit you out. But if you love it, there's nothing else you would do in the entire world. So my first go at it, obviously, was bumpy. I didn't know what I was going to call my business. I was just like, hey, I just want to help some people. So I used Princess Protein. And it's funny, like, I had men on my roster that had the Princess Protein app. They didn't care. They just wanted to train. One of my clients was deadlifting like 400 pounds. Princess Protein, you know. But I started out there. And as things evolved, I take a lot of feedback in what my clients are getting out of the program. Systems, I upgraded my systems. I switched from one app to another because I found I liked the functionality. There's lots of evolutions of that. But I found myself, I was using the term build the best you pretty frequently when I'm talking about what you're doing to actually achieve your lifestyle. And it just clicked. It was like, that's actually a great name for a coaching company, build the best you, because we're doing it one step at a time. And back in the day, again, if you were to ask me, I would have been like, okay, if we want to go on a weight loss journey, we're just going to cut our calories and run a lot on the treadmill. But now I understand, like, you got to lay the foundation. You got to do the cement foundation. You got to build the walls, put the roof on. Then you can put the sides, the windows, like, you're building for sustainability. It's not just a quick fix. And I want people to come to me that want to make a lifestyle change and stick with it. You know, I want to be that catalyst for them. So, like, they're capable of everything. I'm just the guide. I'm just, like, pushing them with the training wheels, and eventually the training wheels come off. But that just stuck with me. And once I made that shift, a lot of my energy shifted too, and like how I'm actually going to teach people how to do this, because we're building it. And there's been so many iterations, but now I've come up with my own unique mechanism where my program is 9 months. It used to be 3 months. And I was like, that's not enough. 6 months. Well, okay, that's not enough. Because what we have to do is we have to assess where you're at. We have to learn how to build balanced meals, go through a reverse diet, stay at maintenance, then go into your fat loss phase. And then there's a part of me that's like, your full transformation isn't done at that 9 months, because then we're going to transition you out. You're not going to be on a diet forever. I want to teach you how to intuitively eat, or if macro tracking is your thing, we can stick with that, but how to sustain what you've built and then not have to worry about, like, I don't know, physically putting everything on paper to understand where you are. You just live this lifestyle. But my unique mechanism, it's been cool to come up with that, because it's not just like, oh, we're going to work together for a couple months and when you're done, you're done. It's like, no, I actually have a program where I've mapped out all the steps so that you learn through it. And that's been really transformative in growing my business. I've been able to scale it faster because I actually have a method.
Sure. I like
to
have
call
a blueprint.
A blueprint, the BEST method. So it stands for the BEST of the best. So it's breakdown and breakthrough. So we're going through your whys. We're figuring out like where you're starting. We have to have those breakdowns. E is more so execute, when we're first taking those steps that you haven't done before. We're learning how to like look at like calories or protein. So we're starting to build habits we didn't have before. S is when we get to sustaining, which is your maintenance, which is just a fun sciencey term, but we're sustaining what we built. And then T is tailor and thrive, when we're specifically either doing your fat loss, your weight loss, your intuitive eating, whatever you came here for the end result. That's that fun phase, is that last one.
Totally.
So I was like, I could do a play on words with that. Let's figure out how to like make this its own thing. So that's the mechanism.
I like that a lot. I mean, I think that for someone coming in, a lot of times people are like, they don't know what they don't know. So when you lay out that plan for them, like, oh, if I just follow the plan, then this will work.
Because I feel like I'm more than just a personal trainer. I can give anybody workouts, but there's strategy in like how we're working out versus what you have access to, what's going to be sustainable, what's going to be safe for you, and to actually repair your metabolism. So if you want just workouts, great, I can send you some workouts for sure. But what I specialize in is actually like fat loss and metabolism repair. So that's the method to do it.
That's really cool. And so, like you said, you do mostly one-on-one coaching. You have the one-time macro setting. So, like, if you want to just send people macros or workouts, you have a offering. I saw or this might be the program you just described, the magic metabolism fat loss mechanism.
Yes, I have fun with like marketing and words and stuff. So that encompasses everything. So what I just explained to you would be the magic metabolism method or mechanism. And people, I call it magic metabolism because you're eating more food, but you're shrinking down. And it's like, how? How the F am I doing that? And it's like magic. But it's not. It takes a lot of work. Right. But it's fun.
It's magic. It's science, but it's magic.
Yes. Science is magic.
Yes.
You guys ever see Breaking Bad? Yes, science. I love science.
The other offering you had listed was the community client. So explain that one a little bit.
Yeah, if somebody is just looking for support or is not ready to make the full commitment but wants to be surrounded by others, you can join my community. You can be in the chat where you have access to the resources. You can ask questions. You can talk with others. So it's just a space depending on where you are, if it's a financial decision or if you're just nervous yet or you just like that extra support, or you've graduated out of the program and you just want to hang around. That's an option for people to just be supported.
Really cool.
Yeah, and with that, I also have, you get workouts every month, like a subscription-based model, so you have some sort of movement in there. And it's not tailored to you specifically, but it's a great launching off point if you need to build some structure, you need some accountability. So I offer that for the people that are just not ready to take that next step yet.
Totally.
Because I've been there. I'm sure you've been there too, where you're like, I want to mess around and find out. So
totally.
Yeah.
And then the last offer, you have the mini offer, like you like if someone just they want some workouts, they want like macro tracking, you provide that if that's just what they're looking for.
Yeah, I'll do a macro consult with them. I'll walk them through what a reverse diet would look like, kind of explain what that looks like, and then ideally I would love to touch base with them about like 3 months into that, see how they're doing, because that would be the point where they would go into the next phase. So keeping in contact. But if you're somebody that's more go at your own pace, or you have experience in this industry, but you want a professional eye on it. Like I've had my own trainer online now for over 3 years at this point, because that takes that extra work out for me. I can buy my time back, and that's somebody else doing something for me as a client. So if you have that experience, but you want somebody to professionally lay it out for you, that's a great option.
Love it. Very cool. All right. So last couple things as we're wrapping up here. So I had printed these out essentially, or copy and pasted them. You have some really cool on your Instagram in general is awesome. Let me throw that out there first.
Thank you. I've had so much fun with it.
Yeah.
Like, who cares if you're cringy? I don't care. I just want to educate people and bring them together.
That's the thing. It's entertaining and it's very educational. And there's something you posted that I printed out was the no cook lazy girl meals, which are great. And you kind of I think listed some of them already, but I wanted to kind of like quickly go over because I want to try some of these. So like the fruit and vegetable parfait, as far as like you're getting easy, you don't have to cook very much, and it's like high protein.
That's me. I'm terrible in the kitchen. My boyfriend Anthony, Italian, so good, and I'm grateful. Anthony, I love you. I'm so glad you like to cook. But these are for the people like me that are like, I don't know and I don't want to. So easy.
And then I'm just gonna list them off because they're all good. So yeah, the fruit and yogurt parfait. I get the Cobb salad, chicken salad wrap. Tuna salad, meaning not the mix, but like actual leafy salad with the tuna on top.
Scramble it up, roll it up.
Lox bagel with the Dave's Killer, everything.
So good.
Awesome. The overnight oats we mentioned earlier. Prosciutto, mozzarella, melon plate. So a little bit of everything.
So yummy, because you get a little sweet, you get a little salty, but you're getting fiber. Hello, fiber.
Rotisserie chicken, which I've heard before, but also putting that in a soup. Using that as so we get the rotisserie chicken soup and then the shrimp and rice bowl.
Shrimp is underrated. People don't realize how much protein it has. It's so easy to throw into anything.
Awesome. And then a little chicken sausage, fruit, veggies, cheese, just separated, kind of like a little smorgasbord of everything.
Yeah.
Solid.
My favorite brand for a chicken sausage is called Fit and Trim. I find them at Market Basket. They have discontinued, I think, the apple chicken one that I loved. But all of them, it's 11 grams of protein per sausage and only 70 calories. It's pretty macro friendly if you're trying to get in extra protein without going over in a certain area.
Sure.
But that one's really easy. And that's like if you have eggs, cottage cheese, scramble that up together. Super simple. That's a lazy girl hack.
And those are super easy to cook.
Yeah, very easy. I can do it, so you can do it.
Like I think a lot of times they're already maybe either already cooked and you just heat them up, or like I remember I've gotten those before. I'm like, oh, the protein's great. And they're easy to cook.
And I like the ingredients. They're pretty basic. It kind of is just like chicken sausage.
Totally.
You're like, awesome, my chicken sausage is chicken sausage. Great.
100%.
They also have deli meat, by the way, Fit and Trim, if you go to Market Basket.
Okay.
That's a good one if you're somebody that works like out of school or a profession where you can't put stuff in the fridge. You can make like turkey roll-ups or, I don't know, sandwiches. But those have good macros also, very high protein.
Very cool. All right, so last couple of questions, and I'll let you get out of here. So anything in store for the future? Anything coming up? Anything you're excited about? I know you're doing the challenge right now, but yeah.
Yeah, that's been exciting. We're a couple days into that, but as continuing education, I just actually enrolled yesterday in a gut health, thyroid, and hormone certification. So I'll be actually able to order functional testing for my clients because I've been pissed off. I've been wronged, okay? Not enough professionals take seriously these women's issues. And so we're finding at this stage of life, a lot of women are getting off birth control. They're considering starting families, but they've got hormonal adaptations, can't get pregnant. So wanting to look at what's actually going on underneath the hood, like what our hormones are doing, looking at our thyroid, and then doing things like a gut map testing too to figure out like, hey, why are you bloated after you eat every single meal despite eating vegetables or eating clean? So just trying to figure out what's actually going on inside. So it's cool to have the personal training and nutrition unlock, but I really want to be able to provide more. So I'm very excited, whether it's one-off testing or part of a program, but to be able to look at your labs and give you like a prognosis, amazing. I cannot wait to finish that certification.
That's super cool. I'm excited about that
it's
for you.
right in my wheelhouse for these women, and I really can't wait.
And then last question I usually leave people with is, you get a billboard for the day. I stole this from Tim Ferriss.
Oh,
so
okay.
on Route 95, somewhere in Warwick, somewhere in Providence, I usually say you get the Rob Lavine billboard because he's got so many of them.
I love it.
So you can put either favorite quote on there, favorite saying, or just something you want to say to like kind of your local community.
This is my favorite quote. I think I answer with this every time, but it's so true. And it's a quote from Jim Rohn. It's, for things to change, you have to change. And for things to get better, you have to get better.
I like that.
It's just so gosh darn true.
I like that a lot. That's a great quote.
Yeah, it just sticks out with me. Actually, my friend Carly, she has a lettering business, a little lettering, but for last Christmas, she made me a signage of that where she wrote that on nice wood. So like I have that in my apartment. So I look at it because it's so true.
Yeah. I like that a lot. That's a really good one to end on. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on.
This is fun. Thank you.
Crushed it. Unfortunately, the camera was being a little buggy at the end, but the editing we'll be able to edit that right out. But no, it was really good to meet you, and you're doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is such an amazing opportunity to collaborate, and I can't wait to listen to more episodes.
Yes. Awesome. Well, we'll leave it at that. Roadie Strength, we are signing off.
Bye.